auspicious day. So we all know that Lord Buddha was born as a prince. And 7 days after his birth, his mother passed away, and then she was reborn in one of the god realms called Sumchutsasum, literally 33. And then that time, Buddha was an infant, so he could not do anything. And then more than after a few decades later, after he became fully enlightened, at one time he traveled to that same god realm, Sumchutsasum, where his mother was dwelling as a god. So to the gods and his mother there, he gave teachings for 3 months. So he spent 3 months, he was teaching there. And mainly, the main reason why he went there was to teach his mother out of great compassion and then to repay her kindness. And then around that time, some of the Buddha's main patrons, some kings in India, they felt the absence of Buddha. And then they were a bit curious to know about the Buddha. So one king, he gathered some of the non-Buddhist masters, practitioners. And then they informed the king that, in their holy books, it's written that in every 1,000 years, there will appear a magician. And then they informed the king that Buddha was one of those magicians. And then at that time, one of the disciples of Buddha came to the king and informed that Buddha, at that time was in one of the gods' realm. And then, after hearing that, the king, he requested Mogilpu, one of the main disciples of Buddha, and he was known for his miraculous powers. So the king requested him to travel to that god realm and request the Buddha to return to this earth. So he went there, he requested Buddha, and then on the 22nd day of the 9th month, the Buddha descended from that god realm, Sumchutsasum, to this earth. And then its significance. Now in the Buddhist calendar, we have 4 main festivals or 4 auspicious occasions in a year. So the first one is in the first month, that is, we call the month of miracles. So for the first 15 days, the Buddha contested with non-Buddhists in miracle. Then the second occasion is in the 4th month. In Bhutan, we celebrate it as Duchen. And then the third auspicious occasion is in the 6th month. We call it Duchen, the month in which the Buddha delivered his first sermon. And then the 4th one is Lhabab Dhuechen, descending day of Lord Buddha, in the 9th month. So it is one of the main festivals or occasions related to the life of Buddha in the Buddhist calendar.
Thank you, Levi. So moving on to our next question. So what is the spiritual importance of Buddha's descent from the Sumchutsasum, particularly in relation to his teachings on gratitude and compassion?
So now, as mentioned before, the Buddha, the main reason why he ascended to that god realm is to repay the kindness of his mother, and that also by giving teachings. So that itself shows, how important it is for all of us to always remember and try to repay the kindness of our parents. And then also on compassion. For example, the Buddha, he could have chosen to stay in that god realm for a long time. But it was out of his compassion for his disciples or the devotees in India that he decided to finally return to the earth. So I think it shows the importance of gratitude and as well as compassion.
So in Bhutan, how do people traditionally observe Lhabab Dhuechen, and what makes these practices so unique?
Well, in Bhutan, unlike in other countries, I think, in Bhutan, especially on these auspicious days like Lhabab Dhuechen, we can see people visiting temples, we can see people making offerings, like lighting lamps and all. So I think this is, as we all know that it's very it's observed in a very religious way.
Thank you, Levi. So, Lhabab Dhuechen is a very auspicious occasion. It's said that it's a merit multiplying day. So, could you explain us what that means and why it's so significant for the practitioners?
Now, when it comes to merit multiplying, these days, these special auspicious occasions or days are considered very powerful astrologically. And one reason is because of the qualities of the Buddha. And if we refer some of his scriptures, be it Sutra or Tantra, we find the Buddha saying that any good deeds done on these auspicious days get multiplied by 100 million times, some by billion times. And then the significance as a practitioner, all that we need is virtue and merit. Because without sufficient virtue and merit, there's no way that we can achieve enlightenment. So if we want to accumulate more merit, more virtue, then I think it's very important to focus more on the practices, especially on these auspicious days.
Thank you. So moving on to our next question. How do themes of this festival, such as honoring one's mother and cultivating compassion, connect with the values of Bhutanese society?
So now, if you talk about the values of Buddhist culture, for example, in the 17th century, when Shabdrung Ngawang Namgyal, when he formed the government, the principal laws were based on Miche Tsamachudu, the 16 pure laws of man, and then Lhachu Gyawachu, the 10 virtuous deeds. Now, in the 16 pure laws of man, Miche Tsamachudu, the third one is respecting our parents, Tinche Phama Gyushin Kurs. And then also in Bhutan, we have the culture and tradition of respecting our seniors, our forefathers, and especially our beloved leaders, such as our enlightened monarchs. And then when it comes to compassion, I think Buddhist people, by nature, we have that compassion in it's like something, like a quality that we inherit from our ancestors. So I think these two, gratitude and compassion, are two of the main components that have a strong influence on our Buddhist culture.
Yes, thank you, Levi. So with the modern influences shaping how festivals and occasions are celebrated, how has Lhabab Dhuechen evolved over the time in Bhutan?
Listen, now I have to be very honest. I'm not sure how it was celebrated 3 to 4 decades ago, but as far as I know, I have seen, even in my village, I have seen my parents, people in my village visiting temples, offering lamb, and then in the shedras, in the monasteries, we perform rituals, and then we see a lot of devotees coming to attend the rituals. And then in the last 10 to 15 years, I think nothing much has changed. But one significant change could be now, His Holiness the 17th Jekhenpo, he declared it as the Mother's Day because of the significance of this particular day. For example, Lord Buddha descended to this earth after giving teachings to his mother as a gesture of repaying her kindness. So based on this incident or this significance, in Bhutan, we celebrate it as Mother's Day together with Lhabab Dhuechen. So I think that is the main change.
Thank you. So what roles do temples and monasteries play in making these occasions and festivals a meaningful experience for communities today?
Now, in Bhutan, we have many temples, and if you go inside the temples, we find many statues. Now, these statues are not merely, any idol or, some figures created from sand or something like that. These, statues are blessed. They are consecrated by some great masters, which means these statues has, the same blessing, and same significance as the Buddha himself, and then all the figures that they represent. So when we go to temples, we go there to make prayers, and then especially to recollect the kindness of Buddha. So I think in order to make people appreciate the deeds of the Buddha, and also to pray for their parents, and then that also by being a part of the rituals and the ceremonies performed in the monasteries. So I think temples, they can play a great role in making these auspicious days very meaningful and significant.
Yes, thank you. Our next question is pertaining to the young people, and in today's time we find less young people engaging in this spiritual occasion. So our question is, for younger generation, what are some ways they can stay connected to the spiritual and cultural roots of the Lhabab Dhuechen?
Now, Lhabab Dhuechen, now in Bhutan, of course, as Buddhists, it's very important for us to time and again recollect the qualities of Buddha, to get inspired. And then especially in Bhutan now, because we celebrate it as Mother's Day, it's very important to understand why do we need to remember the kindness of Mother, and what are some of the kindnesses that she have shown us. So in one of the sutras, the Buddha mentioned that there are 4 types of kindness of our Mother. So the first one is kindness of giving us a body. The second one is the kindness of undergoing hardships for us. And then the third one is kindness of giving us this life. And then the fourth one is the kindness of showing us this world. So if our younger people, if we explain these types of kindness to them, if they understand it, I think they will be able to understand the significance of celebrating Mother's Day, especially on this Lhabab Dhuechen.
So thank you. What do you think of people from different cultures and traditions can learn from the essence of this special day?
Well, I think, as mentioned before, the 2 main principles, like a sense of gratitude and then compassion, are very important, because sense of gratitude, like many great masters is, if you don't have a sense of gratitude, then forget about being a good practitioner. You're not a good human being only. And then secondly, so I think other, people from other backgrounds, like culture, they can learn this. And then also second one, compassion, very important. Not only as Buddhist, but as human being, because the world needs more compassionate people. So I think the people from other groups, they can also learn about compassion as well.
So, thank you. We have come to the very last question of this session. So if you had to summarize the message of Lhabab Dhuechen, what would that be?
Well, I would like to say, I would like to request all my fellow Buddhists within Bhutan and around the globe to always remember the Buddha on this day, to always remember what he taught. Because the Buddha's teachings were mainly focused on peace, non-violence, compassion, and tolerance. So I think it's high time we apply this. We bear in mind the purpose of his teachings, and we try to practice it for ourselves as well as for the well-being of the world. And then also like to repay, to remember, and then try to express our gratitude to our parents for making us who we are. So in short, it's all about recollecting the Buddha, his teachings, and then to repay kindness to our parents.
Thank you, Levi, for your insightful response and the wisdom that you have imparted in this brief session. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
As we conclude today's program, we are reminded of the deep compassion and wisdom that Lhabab Dhuechen embodies. This day is not just about commemorating a historical event, but also about embracing its lessons in our daily lives. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Levi Phupnamge for his knowledge and insights, helping us deepen our understanding of this significant day. Let us take these reflections forward, striving to make our actions more compassionate and our lives more meaningful. Thank you all for joining us. Until next time, be well and take care.